Hello everyone, this is Asra Sultana, Assistant Professor in Triple Department, working in ISL Engineering College. So today we are going to see the series and shunt compensation in detail and what are its advantages and disadvantages also. So series compensation, last class we have already seen this one, that capacitor in series with the line will give control over the effective reactance between line ends, and this effective reactance is given by XL dash is equal to X minus XC. So XL is nothing but line reactance and XC is the capacitor reactance. Okay. So we have seen about series, shunt compensation, line and load compensation. So today we are going to continue with the series and shunt compensation in detail. Okay. So capacitor which is connected in series with the line will give control over the effective reactance between two line ends, and the effective reactance is given by XL dash is equal to X minus XC. So it is easy to see that capacitor will reduce the effective line reactance. So this will result in improvement in performance of the system as below. Okay, what are the improvements in the performance of the system? Let us now see. So voltage drop in the line will reduces, or it will get compensated. That is minimization of end voltage variations. So first point is that uh, capacitor will reduce the effective line reactance, and this will and what is happening because of this? So improvement in performance of the system as below. First one is voltage drop in the line will reduce and will get compensated, or that is minimization of end voltage variations. Second one is it will prevent voltage collapse. Third one is steady state power transfer will increase and it is inversely proportional to XL dash. So as a result of transient stability limit will increases. So the benefits of series capacitor compensator are associated with the problem. Capacitive reactance Xc will form a series resonant circuit with the total series reactance XL is equal to XL, X is equal to XL plus Xgen plus X trans. That is X of generator plus X of transformer. So natural frequency of oscillation of this circuit is given by Fc is equal to 1 by 2 pi root Lc. Okay. So we know this already, formula for Fc. Fc is 1 by 2 pi root Lc, or 1 by 2 pi root x by 2 pi f into 2 pi f c by 2 pi f. That is f into root of xc by x, where f is the system frequency and xc by x is the degree of compensation, and for this degree of compensation 25 to 75% is recommended, and fc is less than f, which is subharmonic oscillation. So even though series compensation has often been found to be cost effective compared to shunt compensation, but sustained oscillations below the fundamental system frequency will cause the phenomena referred to as subsynchronous resonance. So it was first observed in 1937 but got worldwide attention in 1970s after two turbine generator shaft failures occurred at the Majave generating station in southern Nevada. So theoretical studies pointed out that interaction between a series capacitor compensated line oscillating at subharmonic frequency and torsional mechanical oscillation of turbine generator set can result in negative damping with consequent mutual reinforcement of the two oscillations. So subsynchronous resonance is often not a major problem, and low cost countermeasures and protective measures can be applied. So some of the corrective measures are detecting the low levels of subharmonic currents on the line by use of sensitive relays, which at a certain level of currents triggers the action to bypass the series capacitors. Second one is modulation of generator field current to provide increased positive damping at subharmonic frequency. Series inductors are needed for line compensation under light load conditions to counter the excessive voltage rise, that is Ferranti effect. So as the line load and in particular the reactive power flow over the line varies, there is need to vary the compensation for an acceptable voltage profile. The mechanical switching arrangement for adjusting the capacitance of the capacitor bank in series with the line is shown in the figure. Here like this, C1, C2 and so on till Cn, they are connected in parallel in the capacitor bank. So capacitance will be varied by opening the switches of individual capacitances with a capacitance C1, which is started by a bypass switch, and this is a stepwise arrangement. Whole bank can also be bypassed by starting switch under any emergent conditions on the line. So as the switches in series with capacitors are current carrying, suitable circuit breaking arrangement are necessary. So as they are carrying current, so these switches in the series with the capacitor, their arrangement should be circuit breaking, suitable circuit breaker arrangement is necessary. So however, breaker switched capacitors in series are generally avoided these days, and the capacitor is either fixed or thyristor switched. With fast advancement in thyristor devices and associated switching control technology, capacitance of the series capacitance bank can be controlled much more effectively, both stepwise and smooth control. So this can be demonstrated by the following figure. Okay, two thyristors are in anti-parallel with each other and capacitor is parallel with these two thyristors. Okay. So the capacitor is shunted by two thyristors in anti-parallel in the circuit diagram. And upon firing the thyristors alternately, one carries current in positive half cycle and another will carry the current in negative half cycle. So in each half cycle, when the thyristor is fired, that is at an adjustable angle, it will conduct current for the rest of the half cycle till natural current is zero. And during the off time of the thyristor, current is conducted by the capacitor and the capacitor voltage is Vc. So during on time of the thyristor, capacitor is short circuited, that is Vc is equal to 0 and current will be conducted by the thyristor. So same process will be repeated in the other half cycle also. This means that Vc can be controlled for any given current I, which is equivalent of reducing the capacitance C Vc by I. So by this scheme, capacitance can be controlled smoothly by adjusting the firing angle. So thyristors are now available to carry large current and to withstand the large voltage encountered in power systems. The latest device called as gate turn-off thyristor (GTO) has a capability that by suitable firing circuit, angle at which it goes on and off can both be controlled. So this means wider range and finer control over capacitance. Similarly, control is possible over series reactor in the line. So all the controlled and uncontrolled series compensators will require a protective arrangement. Protection can be provided externally either by voltage arrestor or other voltage limiting device or an approximate bypass switch arrangement. So in no case voltage current rating of the thyristor should be exceeded. So depending upon the kind of solid state device to be used and the capacitor or reactor compensation and switched or smooth control, several compensation schemes have been devised and they are in use. So some of the more common compensation schemes are as under. First one is thyristor controlled series capacitor TCSC. Second one is thyristor switched series capacitor TASSC. Third one is thyristor controlled reactor with fixed capacitor TCR plus FC. GTO thyristor controlled series capacitor GCSC. Thyristor controlled reactor TCR. So capacitor or reactor series compensator act to modify line impedance. An alternative approach is to introduce a controllable voltage source in series with the line. So this scheme is known as static synchronous series compensator (SSC). And this static synchronous series compensator has a capability to induce both capacitive and inductive voltage in series with the line, thereby widening the operating region of the scheme. It can be used for power flow control, both increasing or decreasing reactive flow on the line, and this scheme will give us a better stability and it is more effective in damping out electromechanical oscillations. So the scheme, that is static synchronous series compensator, it is having the capability to induce both capacitive and inductive voltage in series with the line. Okay, so it will induce both capacitive and inductive voltage in series with the line. So it will be used for power flow control, both increasing or decreasing reactive flow on the line. So this scheme will give better stability and it is more effective in damping out electromechanical oscillations. Though various types of compensators can provide highly effective power flow control, their operating characteristics and compensating features will be different. Okay, so these differences will be related to the inherent attributes of control circuits. Also, they will exhibit different loss characteristics. So, from the point of view of almost maintenance-free operation, impedance modifying schemes are superior. the specific kind of compensator to be employed is very much dependent on a particular application. Shunt compensations will be shunt. Okay, till now we have seen about series compensation. Now we are going to see about shunt compensation. Shunt compensation will be connected in shunt. Shunt means what? In parallel. Okay. So shunt compensations will be connected in shunt at various system nodes or major substations and sometimes at midpoints of the line. So these will serve the purpose of voltage control and load stabilization. So what are the shunt compensation serving? They are serving the purpose of voltage control and load stabilization. As a result of installation of shunt compensators in the system, nearby generators will operate at near unity power factor and voltage emergencies mostly do not arise. So these kind of compensators, the kind of compensators which are in use are static VAR compensators, that is static volt ampere reactive compensators (SVC), and STATCOM. The STATCOM is nothing but static synchronous compensator. So SVC are the banks of capacitors, sometimes the inductors also for use under light load conditions. Synchronous condenser, it is a synchronous motor running at no load and having excitation adjustable over a wide range. It will feed positive VARs into the line under overexcited conditions and negative VARs when underexcited. So SVC and STATCOM are static VAR generators which are thyristor controlled, and in this section SVC will be studied in detail and STATCOM is forming a part of the fax devices. Now let us see about static VAR compensator (SVC). These comprise capacitor bank, fixed or switched, or fixed capacitor bank and switched reactor bank in parallel. These compensators will draw reactive power from the line, thereby regulating voltage and improves the stability. So it can be steady state and dynamic stability, and they will control over voltage and reduce the voltage flickering. And they will also reduce voltage and current imbalances. So in HVDC application, these compensators will provide the required reactive power and damp out the subharmonic oscillations. So since static VAR compensators use switching for wire control, these are also called as static VAR switches or systems. Let us see now basic SVC configuration or design. So thyristors in antiparallel can be used to switch on a capacitor or reactor unit in stepwise control. When the circuitry is designed to adjust the firing angle, capacitor or reactor unit will act as continuously variable in the power circuit. Okay, what we are telling here, thyristors are in antiparallel with each other and they are used to switch on the capacitor or reactor unit in stepwise control. Okay, when the circuitry is designed to adjust the firing angle, capacitor or reactor unit will act as a continuously variable in the power circuit. So capacitor and inductor bank can be varied stepwise or continuously. So we can vary this capacitor and inductor bank either stepwise or continuously by thyristor control. Several important SVS configurations have been devised and they are applied in shunt-line compensation. So now the static compensator schemes discussed what follows. First one, some of the schemes are like follows. First one is saturated reactor. Second one is thyristor control reactor. Next is thyristor switched capacitor, combined TCR and TSC compensator. Okay. So let us see the first one. Saturated reactor. This is a multi-core reactor with the phase windings arranged so as to cancel the principal harmonics. It is considered as a constant voltage reactive source. It is almost maintenance free but not very flexible with respect to operating characteristics. And second one is thyristor control reactor (TCR). TCR compensator consists of a combination of 6 pulse or 12 pulse thyristor control reactors with a fixed shunt capacitor bank. Say as shown in this figure. Thyristor control reactor compensator will consist of combination of 6 pulse or 12 pulse thyristor control reactors with a fixed shunt capacitor bank, and reactive power will be changed by adjusting the thyristor firing angle. So, thyristor control reactors will be characterized by continuous control and no transients and generation of harmonics. Control system consists of voltage and current measuring devices, a controller for error signal conditioning, and linearizing circuit, and one or more synchronizing circuits. Thyristor switched capacitor TSC, third one. It will consist of only a thyristor switched capacitor bank which is split into number of units of equal ratings to achieve a stepwise control. So as such, they are applied as a discretely a variable reactive power source where this type of voltage support is deemed adequate. So all switching takes place when the voltage across the thyristor valve is zero, so providing almost transient-free switching. So disconnection is effected by suppressing the firing plus to the thyristors, which will block when the current will reach zero. So TSCs are characterized by stepwise control, no transients, very low harmonics, low losses, redundancy and flexibility. Fourth one is combined TCR and TSC compensator. So combined TSC and TCR compensator is shown in this figure. It is the optimum solution in majority of cases. With this, continuous variable reactive power will be obtained throughout the complete control range, and full control of both inductive and capacitive parts of the compensator will be obtained. So this is very advantageous feature which is for permitting optimum performance during large disturbances in the power system. Example, line faults, load rejection, etc. So TSC or TCR combinations will be characterized by continuous control, no transients, low generation of harmonics, low losses, redundancy, flexible control and operation. So basic characteristics of main static VAR generator schemes are shown in the figure table. So type of VR generator, VI and VQ characteristics. So if it is TCR and TSC and TCR TSC. So we are comparing the static VR generators. So first one, maximum current is proportional to system voltage, and maximum capacitance VR output will decrease with the square of the voltage decrease. Here in TSC, TCR, maximum current is proportional to system voltage, and maximum capacitance where output decreases with the square of the voltage decrease. For TCR, TSC, it is same as 1 or 2. Then loss versus VAR output. High losses at zero output, losses will decrease smoothly with capacitance, output will increase with the inductive output. For second one, it is low losses at zero output and losses will increase stepwise with capacitance output. For third one, low losses at zero output, losses will increase step like with capacitance output smoothly with inductor output. Harmonic generation internally high requires significant filtering, and for second one it is internally very low, resonance may necessitate tuning reactors, and for third one internally low, filtering required. Maximum theoretical delay is 1 by 2 cycle, and for second one it is 1 cycle and third one 1 cycle. Transient behavior under system voltage disturbances, it is poor for TCR and neutral for TSC TCR and same as in 2 for TCR. So let us see the differences between SVC and STATCOM. So difference between SVC and STATCOM may be noted that in the normal a linear operating range of VI characteristics and functional compensation capability of the STATCOM and SVC are similar. However, basic operating principles of STATCOM, which with a converter-based VAR generator functions as a shunt-connected synchronous voltage source, and basically different from those of the SVC, because SVC functions as a shunt-connected controlled reactive admittance. So basic operational difference renders the STATCOM to have overall superior functional characteristics, better performance and greater application flexibility as compared to SVC. So another difference between SVC and STATCOM is the ability of the STATCOM to maintain full capacitive output current at low system voltage and also make it more effective than the SVC in improving the transient stability. Now let us see the advantages of series compensation. Series capacitors are self-regulating and control system is not required. Okay, for the same performance, series capacitors are often less costly than SVC and losses are very low. For voltage stability, series capacitors lower the critical or collapse, and series capacitors will possess adequate time overload capability. Series capacitors and switch series capacitors can be used to control loading of parallel lines to minimize active and reactive losses. Now let us see the disadvantages of series compensation. Series capacitors are line connected and compensation is removed for outages, and capacitors in parallel lines may be overloaded. So during heavy loading, voltage on one side of the series capacitor may be out of the range and shunt reactors may be needed for light load compensation. Subsynchronous resonance may call for expensive countermeasures. Advantages of SVC. SVCs will control voltage directly and SVCs will control temporary overvoltage rapidly. Disadvantages of SVC. SVCs have limited overload capability and they are very expensive. So best design is a combination of series and shunt compensation, and because of higher initial and operating costs, synchronous condensers are normally not competitive with SVCs. So technically synchronous condensers are better than SVCs in voltage weak networks. Following a drop in network voltage, increase in condenser reactive power output is instantaneous. Most synchronous condenser applications are now associated with HVDC installations. Thank you everyone for watching the video. I hope this is clear to everyone. In the next class, I will be coming up with the new topic, that is facts. Okay, and what are the different types of facts. Okay, next class we will discuss. Thank you everyone for watching the video.